With an online subscription to the Crescent-News, you can read every article, see every photo, download and read each printed page, watch Crescent-News videos, and see great deals offered by our advertisers. For just $7 a month, you'll know the news in Northwest Ohio as it happens.
Well, I've been in education for 31 years, and I have the unique opportunity of being 3 different settings. I started at Defiance City, which is be a traditional school setting. I went to the Educational Service Center, which is a county program that serves students with disabilities. And I also then finished my career at Good Samaritan School. And, you know, I learned a lot about each of those settings and what they can, pros and cons that they can provide. One of the things the state tries to push out the Good Samaritan schools, you know, they push away from segregated programs, but I can honestly say there are a lot of benefits to programs like that. And the one thing I like to try to tell people in Defiance County, and it's for the parents of a child with a disability, they have options and they have choices within our county. So they could look at something like a Good Samaritan, or they could look at Defiance City, or perhaps a county program where they go to school, that kind of thing. So, okay?
Perfect.
What is one memory or moment that stands out to you?
I don't know that I have necessarily just one moment, but when you're in special education, it's so often it's the little things. You know, when I think about Special Olympics with basketball, clearly last year when our adults had won the state tournament in Division IV, that was certainly a highlight. But I can also think of a student that went with playing basketball, not being able to make a basket, couldn't even get the basket high enough to the rim, and shot 16 times in a row and finally make that basket. And you know, just those little delights and successes, and even students who go from having such sensory needs that they're not able to handle the whistle in the gym or the whistle in a basketball game, to being able to handle the buzzer and the horn at the end of the, you know, there's just these little things that, you know,
Being able to participate,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely. One of my challenges when I first started was having space available for the students that I was teaching. When I started at Defiance City, they didn't have any kind of accessible, the gym was up steps, and if I had a student in a wheelchair, I had no means of getting them into the gym. So I often would have, you know, one-on-one sessions with them in the hallway working on things, or outside when we could go outside. And that I literally, at the ESC one year in Fulton County, I had an elementary class of, let's say, 8 students. And for a whole year we met in the locker room. That was my gym. So those would be some of the disadvantages to, for example, then when I go to Good Samaritan School, I had this beautiful, wonderful gymnasium. You know, but I used to travel from school to school to school, and so my gym was only what I could fit into my car in a lot of ways. So those are, you know, those are logistics and challenges. And then the other one is, you know, I think just like any teacher, trying to figure out how to reach that particular student, what motivates them, how to get them to succeed. You know, that's no different than any other teacher. You know, so.
And that kind of leads into the next question, the similarities that you would have with other teachers of other students. What drew you then to the adaptive physical education in particular? What about that particular?
I don't know if I was drawn necessarily, other than that was the opportunity presented to me, and I've always felt led to some extent in my career. People will often know you know, you work with special needs students, you must have such great patience and whatever, and I always say teaching in general requires a great deal of patience. I don't think I could go back into a regular ed setting, to be perfectly honest, anymore. I've been too far removed from that, but I've loved what I've done everywhere I've gone. I've loved the students at every level and every place I've gone. I've enjoyed it, and so I really had no desire to look to change out of the adapted phys ed. So,
What are your plans moving ahead into your retirement years?
well, I don't have a huge amount of plans. I am officiating volleyball each fall. I kind of got back into that knowing that retirement was imminent. So I called a friend up that we used to officiate together and said, why don't we get back into it? So I will be doing that in the fall. Spend more time with family. My dad goes to Florida in the winters, and I'm quite certain I'll get down there a little bit this winter. But nothing immediate as far as, I'd like to travel, but just enjoy myself.
Number one place you'd like to go right now if you're going to travel?
There's so many. Maybe Italy. I've traveled in Europe some, but that's a place I'd love to get. Lots of places in the United States. I'd like to get out to Vancouver, Washington State, up in that area maybe. But